Hello and welcome to today's My Games Recruitment Show, where, as you can see, we're going to be talking about quick website changes that increase sales and how you can energize your website, ignite sales, all with swift and easy to do changes. We're very, very excited about today. And with us today, of course, we have the magnificent Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Exceedingly well, actually, at the moment. A tad overworked, but that's your fault. Just want to say that. But other than that, I'm in great shape, actually. Pleased to be here.
Shouldn't be so good at what you do, should you? And Mike, are you going to introduce our rather special guest today?
I think I will. Yeah, we've got delighted to have Rob Garner on with us today. Hi, Rob.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Well, Rob is the founder and CEO of Abstraction Labs. I nearly said that right. Got breaking these teeth in for the dog. Abstraction Labs. And he builds and optimizes websites for recruitment companies. So the ideal person to come on the show. And the reason I wanted him to come on the show was that I think, looking at a lot of recruitment company websites, as I have to as part of my job, many of them I think, nah, it's not bad. They're not bad. They're just not working for you. They're just not putting the effort in. And I think behind the scenes, it's even more so, which is why we've got Rob on, because he's a behind the scenes man as well. So I wanted to come on, hit us with some things that we can do, which will make a difference to how hard our websites work for us in recruitment. So there you go. Hope you can do that, Rob.
Yeah, I will do. Don't worry.
Okay, so the way it's going to work today is Rob has lots of tips and he's going to make it as interactive as humanly possible and actually show you how to do some stuff. We are going to go through as many as we can in the time. So please, if you have any questions as we go through for Rob, if you want any clarification, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, Rob, let's start with your first tip, which I'm a very big fan of.
So yeah, first one then, big one is going to be Google Lighthouse. So this is basically a report by Google, and it shows you the kind of the health of your website. It shows you like the speed, the accessibility, how well SEO optimized it is, and just the general best practices on your website. So to access it, what you need to do,
here we go,
is so you navigate to your homepage URL, and then we're going to right click anywhere in the window, and then we're going to scroll down and select inspect. Here we go, and this is going to bring up the Google developer tools on the right hand side, and then you see the double arrows just next to elements, console, sources, and networks. Click that, and then we're going to select Lighthouse. Perfect, there you go, and then click analyze page load.
Well, I'm not going to do that because in good Blue Peter style, we did it earlier because it takes ages because we're on the screen as well. It's burning up time. So we did it, and we've chosen the Flare website because it's an old site that we don't use anymore. And it's, as you can see, rubbish. So do you want to talk us through the numbers there, Rob?
So I didn't want to say it's right. I've seen worse, but you could improve it. I know someone that can help you improve it, so don't worry about that. But yeah, so you can
site, which is what we're going to do. But anyway,
so you should be aiming, like ideally you should be aiming for about, you give you a score out of 400, you should aim for about 330 out of 400.
Where's the score?
So performance should be about 60 and above, and then the rest should be 90 and above, ideally. But most of them, most recruitment websites I see sit about 270 to about 320. Mine's about 380, but I'm good at what I do. And if you scroll down in this report, it gives you little tips as well. It might kind of say, oh yeah, do you know what, your images need kind of alt tags, or these things need to be adjusted, or
that's very cool.
So yeah, we can kind of scroll down. We can click on the little kind of circles at the top as well, and then we'll kind of scroll direct. Yeah, click on one of those, and it will go directly to that section. So accessibility. So it's telling you a bit about the background and the foreground, and maybe they need to kind of be changed a little bit. So it gives you things you can actually like change yourself, and then you can run the report again once you've made those changes, and look at the new score that it gives you.
Wow, that's very cool.
Very much like that. I like the idea that this is one of the first things that you do, because you figure out where your website is before you know what to do with it. Because you might make changes that take time and effort that actually don't have that big an effect. So I like the fact that you get to see where you are.
Now we've got we're going to show Rob's now, which is considerably better than mine. So there it is. This is your.
I don't know if this is mine. I don't know. I thought mine was going to be a bit better, but yeah, I don't know what's happening. It should be. I say normally do this in an incognito browser, so it should be 380 out of 400 because I ran a test on it just to make sure. But sometimes if you've got loads of extensions in your browser, it can slow things down. So if you do it in an incognito one, that's probably why the other one was a bit slower, because I had different scores for yours anyway. But if you run it in incognito one, it kind of like clears out all the cookies and stuff like that.
Yeah, should have done.
But the premise is you want all of those circles to be green, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But have it in an incognito browser, ideally.
And if it isn't, then if we're in the state where it isn't where you need it to be, as with the flare site a few seconds ago, what you're saying is there's some of those things people can fix themselves, and it makes it more findable, or more people are more likely to interact with it and find it and stay there longer. Is that what Google's telling us from that report?
Yes, it's basically telling you, look, this is what you need to do to your website. And if you do these things to your website, then yeah, it's going to be faster. So when people click on the link in the search engine, it's going to load faster. If I'm waiting more than 3 seconds for a website to kind of load up, I move away and I move on to the next kind of result. You know, I'm impatient. Most people are impatient. So it's kind of basically just telling you this is what you need to do to have a quick, fast, accessible, easy to use website for your users. And that will then translate into increased traffic and increased conversions.
Well, I don't know about you, but I love numbers. I love the green, amber, and red as well. Well, we're not going to do it to the Flare site, but as soon as we're finished, I'm going to check it out on the Recruitment Pioneers site, which is the site we use now, just to see what the scores are and get our man on it pretty damn quickly. So that's great. I love that one.
Okay, fantastic. So, Rob, we know where we are, and according to the Flare website, we're not in a great place. So could you tell us some other things that we can do to sort of improve stuff moving forward?
Yes, another one's the SSL certificate. So making sure you've got a secure website. So most websites come with an SSL certificate these days when you kind of purchase a domain or you purchase the hosting. And you can check if your website has this and is secure. So if you navigate to the URL, and then just next to that, there's a little kind of, there you go, the 2 dots and the 2 circles, 2 lines, and you click that and it should say, as we see here, connection is secure. So this is a secure connection. And if a candidate's sending across their CV via your contact form, that should be like unhackable, like no one's going to intercept that. It's all going to be encrypted. If it's not secure, then it will say not secure there, and you need to buy an SSL certificate. People are going to be more likely to use your website if it is secure, and they're going to be happy to kind of send across their CV.
And how much is that certificate that you speak of?
Some of them are free of charge. So I use Google Domains and Google Hosting. That just comes free of charge in the package. Some people may charge £100 for the year. But there's a lot of providers that just do it free of charge. So Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy, they just chuck it in free of charge.
Okay, so it's really not like considering how much you can win from it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So, okay, sorry, Kirsty.
That's okay, don't worry. Okay, so I like that. That's again, like the more secure it is, the more likely to get high quality candidates sharing their CV with you, that kind of thing. Is that basically the premise?
Yeah.
I like this. It's all coming together, Rob. It's all coming together. I like it because it's a quick one as well. Okay, what's the next one that you've got for us? I believe
mobile responsive. So we can check if our website is mobile responsive and how it looks on different devices as well. So you don't have to kind of jump on your phone and kind of check it on your phone. Google can basically give us 20 different devices that we can kind of look at it on. So if we right click on our website and go to inspect again, and that will bring up the developer tools. And then just by elements, there's a little laptop and mobile thing that needs to be blue. And then if we go along to the left where Mike just was, we've got dimensions, and it will give us 20 different devices that we can check, and we can see how it looks on like a Nest Hub or an iPad Pro or an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy Fold or all these different devices. And you can make sure that, it looks good, when someone's on a different device and is fully mobile responsive. And Google loves that. Google loves kind of mobile responsive websites, and they're going to serve you up better if they do look good on those devices, really. So it's just a quick and easy way to test that your mobile website is how you picture it to be, really.
Just
so
on
with that one.
Oh, go on, you go. Okay, just very quickly on that. Do you think that people use their mobile devices more and more these days then? I mean, at one point it was 50-50, or more on the laptop. Then it went to 50-50. What do you reckon it is now?
Yeah, I think it depends on who you are and where you are, but I think it's probably aged about maybe kind of like 60-40, I'd say, that tend to kind of are on the side of mobile. If you're looking at a client, I think the client's probably more likely to visit your website on a desktop. They're at work, they're on their laptop, they're on their monitor at home, whatever it may be, and they're looking at your website there. If you're a candidate, it's probably going to be a mix of both. They're probably looking at your website on their mobile device in the commute or over lunch or whatever it may be. Maybe they're looking at some of the jobs and maybe go, oh, do you know what? I like some of these jobs. I'm going to leave this tab open. And then when I'm at home on my laptop or on my tablet, I'm going to apply to the job. I've got my CV on my laptop. It's a lot easier applying for the job that way. And they're going to kind of apply like that. So people kind of tend to use it in different situations, depending on who they are and where they are and things like that. But I think there's more traffic going towards the mobile version of your website at the moment. So make sure it looks good.
I actually saw something as well with that, is that Gen Z and like elder alphas, some of them have never even looked at a desktop, never even seen one. It's like in a museum for them. And many of them don't have laptops. They just have the Google version of things. So a lot of the younger, if you're aiming for younger people, then a lot of them don't have laptops. They will always be looking at phone and devices. So that's something to keep in mind if your candidates are younger, the younger generations, Gen Zers and below. Okay, I do like that. So the premise with that one is you're making it so that when other people, when your candidates or clients are viewing it, it's an enjoyable experience for them, but not just that Google-like pages that work well under other things.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it doesn't work well, if it comes back and you think, oh, that's a bit skew-if, what would you suggest that they do?
So you can change it yourself. So you can, if you've got a Wix or a Squarespace website, you can normally kind of just go in there, just log in. You can kind of move the different parts around, and then kind of lay it out a little bit differently, deploy that, and then go back and test it really. Or if you have a WordPress website, you normally have access to the kind of content management system, and you can move things around a little bit or use different images or move the layout out a little bit, kind of based on what you've seen, and then redeploy it and then check it again on that to make sure it looks okay. Or get in touch with your developer and they can sort it out for you.
This is ideal if you're having your website developed at the moment, because before it's signed off by the developers, you get like beta test versions, don't you, to look at. So you can go and check these things on all these different devices to make sure it looks good. And if not, you're going to report back and say, guys, you know, you need to just jolly this along a bit because it looks rubbish. Although if they're a decent outfit, I suppose they must have checked that anyway, I would think.
You'd hope so, but I'd check it. I'd check it, to be honest. And it's only going to take like literally half an hour of your time to check all those devices and all different pages, and it's going to be worthwhile.
Fantastic. Okay. We have had a comment. If we have any other comments or questions for Rob, do you guys put them in? But I like this one from Brian. He said he's a web dev and he didn't know about the Lighthouse part of Inspector. So we're everybody's learning new stuff today, let alone just me and Mike. So we're a big fan of that.
All day.
Fantastic. Okay. So I believe the next tip that you've got is one that Mike's really excited about, which is website pages.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just, I guess it's kind of a quick and kind of a basic one really, but think about the pages that you have on your website. The more pages you have and the more relevant content you have on there, the more chance you have of being found for different kind of search terms, and the more chance you have in engaging clients and candidates while they're on your website. So I imagine Mike's pretty got his opinion as well, but there's certain things you're going to have on your kind of on your website. If Mike wants to kind of chip in with a couple of his suggestions, I can kind of follow up with some of mine as well.
Over to you. You go first.
Right, I'd probably say, so you want like an about page, you want a page for kind of blogs, case studies. People are finding case studies and seeing case studies a lot. So, you know, I worked on this particular job with this particular company, and this is the kind of result that we got from it. That's really big at the moment. Pages for candidates, clients, your contact us page, your kind of home or landing page, internal careers. Don't forget that work for us kind of section. Jobs pages.
Can I just dive in on that one? Can I just dive in on that one, right? I look at a lot of websites, as I've said earlier. It's part of my job really to assess kind of what needs to change externally, not internally, of course. And one of the things that always seems to just underwhelm is the join us page. Some companies hardly have anything at all. It's just send your CV here, really. And based upon the fact that in the modern world, well, first of all, we're telling all our clients to do it. Get yourself a good join us page because it makes life easier, right? But we haven't done it ourselves. But in the modern world, you millennials and Gen Zs, I can't remember the exact figure. I think it was 87% will check you out online before they'll apply for a job. They'll look on social media, they'll look at your website, they'll look at whatever else they can find about you. And if they don't see what they're looking for, then that's not necessarily going to turn them off, but it won't turn them on. So I just want to show you one, which is my favorite. Can I put this up, Kirst? It's the Michael Page one. If you go to Michael Page, Why Choose Us, the job's at the top. I think it's brilliant because it happens to adhere to what we think an EVP should have, which everyone should have. It has a little video there. Last time I looked at that, they may have changed it. A lot of people working there saying, hey, it's great to work here. It's fabulous. That thing they say they do, right? So it's like social proof. And then they've got the key things that we know that research tells us employees look for. They want to know how they can progress, their talent developments, how they can themselves improve. The rewards, of course, they want to know that. And then there's that well-being, social impact and diversity for those people that are interested in that. So really, they've got everything on there. And then at the bottom, oh no, not in this one, there's another one that they've got where they've got leaders from Michael Page talking about what it's like to work at Michael Page. It's very interesting if you're looking for a job, because you can find the answers to what you're looking for there and get excited before you've even sent your CV off. So I would strongly recommend that you have a really good Why Choose Us page. And of course, then when you talk to clients, you can say, well, look at ours. You should have one like this. It's brilliant.
Oh, that's smooth, isn't it? Oh, that's smooth. And again, with that, the idea is to link it back to increasing sales. If you have good people working for you who are stable, who understand who are going to get what they want, a stable team builds a profitable team. So
yeah, the data on that is very complete. The more stable a team, even if the people in it are average, the more stable it is, the more profit it makes. Right? So you're looking for stability in a team, very much so. And a key element of that is your EVP, because on the one hand, you've got to have something which you can promise people, but on the other, you've got to have then the mechanisms to deliver what you promise. So you attract them and you keep them. Without both of those elements, it's not really going to work for you. And that page there is the starting point for that. It's the beginning of that process.
Yeah, we have a great comment from Joe who said they used to work there. It's clear change in the last 10 years with those values. And it is important to make sure they're true. It's important.
No, hey, it's not for me to say that. I'm just pointing out it's a great page. God knows.
I'm sure it is true for them now. Maybe it wasn't 10 years ago, but I'm
yeah,
sure
we
it
don't
is
get
now.
sued. Yeah, we don't get sued. I just agree with Joe.
Let's move on. Mike, there was another page. Oh, Rob, did you have any more pages that you wanted to say? Because I know Mike.
I'm going on that. Models, prices, the markets, the sectors that you recruit for. Page for your team as well, kind of like photos of the team and a bit about them, stuff like that. Testimonials, big one. I think that's a really good one.
Can I come in right there? So if you understand the science of buying, right, what people do is they want to know some key information about you. They're called their key messages. There are 8 of them. So they want to know that whether you're buying a car, a new house, or you're looking to take on a new supplier, make a difference. Got to know the answers to these questions. Right, got that. That kind of meets with my needs. Got it. Then there's well, is it true? Are they actually, well, they say that, but do they deliver what they say? Testimonials are good. Case studies are good. Video testimonials and video case studies are much better. In fact, the data tells us 5 times better. So they're 5 times more likely to be believed if they're video, for obvious reasons, because you can read the body language. You can clearly tell that this is not a script that someone's reading. Yes, I use Mike Ames and he's fabulous. You should use him too. You can tell that it's not that. So this is our page on the old Flair site. Oh, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it, really?
Michael.
I know, sorry about that.
Everybody put shame in the comments on Michael.
Yeah, put shame in. I don't care. I'm proud. Anyway, let me just go back to this and try and deflect away from my lack of professionalism. So this is what's called a credibility page, and it's just a series of videos of people saying how fabulous I am at what I do. Now, the bottom line here is that no one's going to read them all or watch them all. It's just going to be overwhelming that there's a lot of people on video saying, that thing they say they do, well, they do it. And I think if you can get video testimonials, I know it's hard, they are very powerful right now. And video case studies, which can be anything up to half an hour, because again, people aren't going to watch them all. They've just got to watch them until they think, yeah, these guys are the real deal. Then they stop. Are very powerful indeed. So we know that this is the second most visited page on our old Flair website, right after the About Us, which is the first one. So I think it's well worth doing that if I were you.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. So I think we kind of get, so basically the premise is that you want the information to be readily accessible for anybody who wants to see it, so they don't have to they can answer questions before they speak to you. But Rob, I do have a question. Obviously you have them at the top, like you have them so they're easily navigatable. How do you feel about drop downs when it comes to pages? Do you group, or do you just have them across? How do you feel about that when it comes does that have an effect?
Yes, you want to make it as easy as possible for someone to click through to that page. So there should only be maybe kind of 3 clicks from the home page to get to where they need to be. So you can use drop downs, but make it so they're easy to navigate and they're intuitive. So I'm going into About Us and I expect to see these things in there. Don't have something that a page that I don't expect to have in there. You know, try and make it intuitive and try and kind of group them together. And don't have like loads of different submenus. Don't have a submenu inside of a submenu. And if you do, then you need to make sure you do it really well, because they're kind of tough to pull off, really. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Moving on to our next tip, which I believe it's SEO optimizing content. Now, I understand each of those words individually, but you put them together and I'm not sure what that means. Can you explain?
I'm not fully sure either, but I know. So the content would be, so anything you have on your website. So all the copy that we have on our website. So the jobs, the blogs, the general kind of copy that we get throughout. But then you want to make sure that it's readable to our clients, our candidates, our potential employees, but then it's also readable and it looks good to Google as well. And through that, we need to kind of add in certain keywords into our blog posts or into a copy of our website that Google kind of, when it's trawling our website, it's going, okay, what is this website about? And if you're running a pharmaceutical recruitment company, you want to put certain keywords in there. So you want to have, pharmaceutical firm or pharmaceutical company or pharmaceuticals or medicine or doctors or lab assistants or lab technicians or laboratories, things like that. So you want to kind of like think about those words and try and kind of ease those and kind of weave those kind of words into the general kind of copy. There's certain kind of tools you can use. So there's something called the Google Keyword Planner. So if you just go into Google, you can type in Google Keyword Planner, and it brings up this kind of thing by Google, and it can kind of basically just suggest different kind of keywords to us based on a keyword that we can put in. So we can kind of put in the website that we want to kind of get suggestions of. So I can put in my website in there, and it give me 100 different keywords that kind of relate to my website and the sector I recruit for. Or you could put in a particular kind of keyword, and it would give me 10, 20 different keywords around that. And it can also kind of suggest the amount of traffic that each of those keywords gets as well. And then you can go like, oh, okay, this is getting 100 searches. So I can kind of use that a bit more. So that's the kind of idea there, really.
Now on this, I remember seeing a tip ages ago where people would have like white websites and then they'd put loads of keywords in white font. And then I heard that Google was sort of punishing that. Is that true? Where they were like hiding keywords, not in text.
Yes, I wouldn't do that. So they'll pick up on that straight away, and you'll get penalized, and they'll push you right to the bottom of the rankings. So you have to make sure it's readable. So just make sure it's good quality, readable content. Like someone's reading it and going, this is really interesting. I'm really kind of finding this entertaining. That's the key point. So aim for that. But then after you've written it, try and go through it and add a few keywords in here and there. Don't make it so it's super weird, but just try and add, like, pepper in a few keywords.
Is that why it's useful to have things like blogs on there? Because it's new content, but you can put lots of different things in blog posts, can't you? Would that still count? Would that still be part of it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one of the key things is have a blog on your website. So Google loves websites that are updated on a regular basis. So make sure you kind of update your blog on a weekly basis. Google loves that. It's going, this is an active website. There's new content. I want to push this out to all those clients and candidates out there and be like, look, have a look at this website. It's active, it's new, it's pushing out good content that you'll probably like. And if you write good blog posts, they can really turn around your business. When I had my recruitment company, I wrote a blog post about what is media sales and advertising sales that I used to recruit for. That ended up ranking #1 as the Google definition for that search term. And we had so much kind of graduate traffic that came in via just that blog post. So if you write a good blog post, it can bring in so much traffic for your
the benefit of that, of course, you can promote it via LinkedIn, so you can get people off LinkedIn onto your website using a blog post. It's very difficult to do it in any other way other than content, isn't it? You can't send people from LinkedIn, hey, go and look at my my About Us page. It's like, well, no, but you can point them with a decent blog post. So we're all in
Or
favour
a
of
decent work for us page.
that. Yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah, with your EVP splattered all over it. Come and work for us.
We have had a question, Rob, which I think is a good one. So somebody said, I saw some of the top questions that appeared on Google came up with top answers in a Google general search. What's the best site to find where the most often asked questions are on the web? Is it Quora? How do you say that word?
Quora.
So what's the best site to find the most often asked questions?
Yeah, I think maybe this means they might be putting like an FAQ section on their website, maybe.
Yeah, so you can use I'm trying to think. So there's something called Google Search Console. So if you type in Google Search Console, that can give you kind of keywords or terms that people use, and it will show you the amount of traffic that kind of gets that each of those keywords gets. I try and just sit down and write out a list and kind of permutations of each of those questions. Think about the kind of questions that I guess someone would ask, or the frequently asked questions that someone would ask about your recruitment agency. So, how do I register? How long does it take to register? Who do I register with? When do I expect to hear back? What's the process? What's the interview process? Things like that, and kind of work out those things and just kind of Google those kind of search terms or those questions and see the kind of content that kind of crops up, I guess. But you can use the Google Search Console as well.
Just on that as well, since you mentioned, we've been talking about productization in recruitment for some time, and what we talk about is productizing the service that we offer to our clients. Buy from us and you can get this, and this, good, better, and best. If you're stuck in 1952, or whatever your approach is to productization, but there is a case to be had to produce a product for your candidates, because all you're doing is basically outlining, well, if you come to us, this is what you get. This is kind of how it works. It's like a promise of service, really. This is how we'll treat you, and a page for that. Again, something that you can draw people from LinkedIn across to your website is quite powerful, because oftentimes candidates just feel so disheartened by the way in which they're treated by some agencies. So to make it clear what you're going to do and then stick to it, obviously, then goes without saying, can actually be quite attractive, because it's like, well, if you're going to treat me like that, well, fine, I'm in. And I think it does make a difference for certain types of people, at least.
Fantastic. And then there's another comment that I wanted your thoughts on, Rob. I think it was this one. Brian said, don't forget about your Google business profile, which is now part of the SEO strategy.
So yeah, it might be something you might bring up later on, but yeah, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to do it. But yeah, there's something called a Google business profile, and you can check to see if you have one. So if you just simply go to a Google tab and type in your company name and then the location, the town where your company's based. So mine would be Abstraction Labs and Lewisham, and then that should show me my Google business profile page. So just on the right hand side, there'll be a little kind of excerpt that kind of crops up, and there'll be some photos, my telephone number, an email address, and website address, and things like that. You could also check via Google Maps. So you can go into Google Maps and then type in your company name and the town where your company's based, and that should kind of show a kind of a business profile. If you don't have one of those, you can make one of those really, really easy yourself. There's loads of kind of online YouTube tutorials that can talk you through it. It's like a 10-minute job. They kind of verify that you're the actual person that owns the business as well, which might take a little bit longer. But yeah, it's really easy to do, and there's loads of online tutorials.
Fantastic. Okay, now we do have to move on, because there's some really good points that I want to bring out before we kind of start rounding up. So the next one that you've got as a top tip is call to actions. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
So you want to direct people. So when they hit your website, so you're normally going to have a few different personality types. You're going to have a client or a candidate or a potential employee looking to work for your recruitment consultancy. And you want to kind of make sure you can guide them through a specific journey. So jump onto your website and just start clicking the links on your website, the page links, and see where they take you. So when you land on your home page, click the first kind of page link and see where that goes. And then scroll down that page and then click on the next page link and see where that goes. But you want to make sure you take them on a specific journey. So if they hit your home page and they're a client potentially looking to use you because they have a live vacancy, you want to direct them to, say, the client's page. And then on that page, you want to have a link to, say, the testimonials page, so they can kind of then buy in and go, okay, look, this agency has loads of good testimonials, from clients and candidates and things like that. I really like that. Maybe you want to direct them to the sectors page or the jobs page. They can kind of check and go, okay, this agency does recruit for the roles that we are looking to hire for. And then you can have a call to action, so a link to like the contact us page as the final call to action. And then you have your telephone number or a contact form, and they can get in touch with you about that live vacancy. It's about taking them on that journey through your website.
Can I ask, I've got a question on this. One of the things I've seen a lot recently is, and I'm guessing it's to reduce the number of clicks, is that there's a lot more on the page and people expect you to scroll through. So it's not, when it used to be quite a small thing, like this flare one is designed small and you go somewhere else and you go somewhere else. They seem to be putting a lot more on the page now, so you can just scroll down and not need to click. And there's still links in it, still hyperlinks in it, but nowhere near as many as they used to be. Is that a thing, or is it just the odd few sites that I've seen? Is that like is there a purpose for that?
Yeah, so people tend to have kind of longer pages. So especially with the home page, so people now have maybe kind of 5 different elements on that home page. You've got the landing page, then you might have a section for your About Us section that leads to the About Us page. Then you might have a little section for jobs, live jobs, that leads to the job page, but has a little carousel telling you about the live jobs. Then maybe you've got a little kind of testimonials section that has like a carousel of different kind of testimonials that links through to that. So I think that's a good way, and people can kind of land on the home page and then be like, okay, what am I looking for? They can kind of read about you and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm looking about, I want to see the live jobs, and then kind of click on that. So you kind of like, I think that's really good. And you get kind of one-page websites as well, where they kind of put it all onto one page.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. We have had a quick question coming through that I want to deal with. Oh, now, sorry, this one moved. So someone has said that, is this being recorded so they can review it? Because obviously we've got a lot of stuff coming at you. It is recorded. It will be on our YouTube channel, and I will tell you what that is at the end. It is, I think, on our going out, but it is recorded. So if you feel like you're missing something or anything like that, don't worry. You can watch this as many times as you want, and I will tell you how you can do that at the end. Okay.
I was going to back this up with like a blog post as well. So I'll add all of this in a blog post, and people can kind of go through that in their own time as well.
Yeah,
but I go through this. I'm probably going to explain it a lot better in the video. But yeah, and it's going to take the time.
We'll put a link as well from the post and from the YouTube channel. We put a link to that blog post to that.
Yeah. So there is lots of ways that you can get all of this information. Okay. So moving on to the next point, because we've got a couple more to get through. Optimizing images. This is an important one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so shout out to the person that's from Lewisham as well. I didn't get a chance to kind of comment on that, so there you go. But yeah, so images as well. So I think images are so important on a website. So there's so many things here that we can kind of use, but so the images that you use, make sure you use images of your company. So the actual offices, the location of the town. If you're based in Birmingham or Manchester, use images from that actual kind of town. Use images of the people that work there. So don't use, I have stock images because it's just me at the moment, and it's just going to be really boring to have loads of pictures of me, but use images of your actual kind of team. You can also kind of optimize them as well. So most images come in a kind of a PNG or a JPEG format that you tend to see. I won't have time to kind of show you all these kind of things, but it's best to convert them to a WebP format. So it's a specific format that Google released a few years ago, and it makes sure that you have a high quality image, but it kind of reduces the size of the image, so it makes your website a lot quicker, and then you get a better score, and people are kind of happy with that, and it looks better on mobile devices and things like that, really. So, and you can convert any of your images from PNG or JPEG all by yourself. So you can, if you go to a website called cloudconvert.com, you can upload it in an image to that, and then convert it to WebP, and then you can download that image and then kind of re-upload that to your website. And that will just mean like a smaller website size and a quicker website. So that's a really good one as well. You can also change the size of the images as well. So you don't want to kind of serve a really big image on a mobile device. So if you're, it takes up like the bandwidth, it's kind of longer to kind of download that huge image as well, really. So you can change the image all by yourself, the size of the image. So if you're on like a Windows laptop, you can just open up Photos or any kind of image editing software, and then you can just edit the actual size of the image. So if it's on a mobile device, you probably want something that's about 600 pixels to 800 pixels, roughly. If it's on a desktop kind of website, you can go for about, I say maybe about kind of 90, well, maybe about 1200 pixels up to about 1920 pixels. That would be a good size for kind of most kind of images, from kind of blog post images to kind of hero images that take up the full kind of width of the page, really. And you can do that all yourself, and then you can kind of serve different images on your desktop or on mobile devices. And you can do that super easy on kind of WordPress websites all by yourself, or Wix or GoDaddy or Squarespace. Just look up like a YouTube tutorial and they can kind of talk you through those kind of things. But that's really easy to do, and it will just speed up your website a ton.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions on this. So first one is around GIFs. Are GIFs a good idea to have on your website? Do they help? Do they hinder? Or are they just cool to look at?
I do you know what? I never see any GIFs on a website. I can't remember one website. I love memes myself. I'd like to see more of them on there. But yeah, I never see that many. But yeah, more memes, more GIFs.
Okay,
Brilliant.
fantastic. Somebody's asked any tips or thoughts on short videos as opposed to images on your website?
Yeah, so I love video content. I think video content is absolutely brilliant. Use video. I think it kind of shows. So I don't know, for example, you might have your jobs page. You might have an individual job. Maybe you're looking for a C# software developer. Have the consultant have a little video at the bottom of that jobs page, and get the consultant to talk through the job, get them to talk about the company, what that company is particularly looking for. Have a little kind of 30-second video, something like that. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I think it kind of engages candidates so much more. Or have a video of like someone going around your office, like, you know, just following the dog or something around the office, and getting to see the actual kind of office or things like that.
If you Google the ones I told you earlier, Michael Page have got a couple of good videos on there. If you Google Knights, they're a law firm. Join us at Knights. They've got a great video as well, talking about what it's like to work at Knights. They're really good, actually, that one. So I'm all for that. And the other thing I would say on this is try and avoid hiring someone to produce video for you. The best kind of video, I mean, you want it to be decent quality, but the best kind of video is very authentic. And corporate video, fine if you want one of those, although they're less powerful than you just looking at camera and saying, look, you know, come and work for me, or if you work with us, this is my promise is for you that we will do this, that, and the other. I think it's got a lot more power to it on that.
Yeah, 100%. And you can just make those videos on your phone, by the way. Most people have a decent smartphone now, so you could do them on that. Now, we do have a couple of questions coming up, which I'm not sure we're going to have time to answer. But Rob, you said that you will probably go through and answer all these questions if any remain unanswered, don't you?
Yeah, reach out to me and I'll write that post as well, which will hopefully answer any of your questions. But reach out to me, drop me a line on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. Okay, now before, we've got just a couple more left that we have time for, but before we do, Mike, a quick word from our sponsors.
Yeah, that'll be me then. Right?
Yeah,
just sponsor ourselves, really. Yeah, that will not for much longer, I suspect. But there we go. Okay, right. So just want to recognize why we do this. You know, we give as much as we can to our community, and in return, we take about 20 seconds of your time just to promote one element of what we do. So on this particular instance, it is our Profit and Lifestyle Growth Summits that we run. Our focus is on that. We have a full day in a hotel or a conference center, and we look at strategic business development, which is like streets ahead of tactical BD, looking for vacancies and specking candidates. Apex Client Care to make you the top supplier to more of your A-list clients. Zero cost marketing engines, for sure. The best kind of marketing is zero cost. Everyone knows that, and we're going to tell you what it is. Layered fulfillment as opposed to 360. And finally, how to be a sticky employer, which is all about EVP and all the rest of it that goes with it. Those are the prices and the locations, right? That's the deal right there. If you're interested and you'd like to know a little bit more, I don't take that you want to book, just that you want to know more. Well, you put 3 in the comments, we'll pick it up and we'll send you a link. Or if you're watching a recording of this on YouTube or on LinkedIn, then you can just email summit to mike.flair.uk and I will email a site to you where you can read more. And if you want to, you can book it. So there you go. For me personally, if you want to scale your business or improve the amount of money that you make and the time that you have as the owner, 97 quid gets you that.
Fantastic. Okay, now I think we've got time for one more tip, Rob. And I think the one that most people are going to have a question about is going to be this one, which is analytics, because everybody wants to know how their site is running, right?
Yeah. So there's a few key tools that you probably want to have a little look around for. I won't have a chance to kind of probably go through all of them, but I say the three main ones are going to be, so here we go. So your Google Search Console, Google Analytics 4, and then also Google Tag Manager. So what you'll kind of need to do, I can, if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to kind of talk anyone through how to kind of set these up. But you can basically just navigate to certain pages and see if they're kind of set up. So if you're on your browser, you just type in, if you want to go to the Google Search Console, you can do search.google.com/search-console/about. And that should take you, and it's a bit of a long one, I know, but if you just type Google Search Console, it should kind of take you through there anyway. And that kind of just basically shows like all the URLs that are on Google at the moment. If there aren't any that are on kind of Google, you can kind of update those yourself. So you can add those in and say, Google, can you crawl this particular URL and put it onto Google? Can you index it for me? And it can do that, and it can do a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Google Analytics 4 is really good as well. So that kind of shows you like who's visiting your website, the demographics, the countries they're coming from, when they're visiting your website, traffic levels, the most popular pages. You can kind of work out what kind of content you should be putting out there. And you can kind of just do like Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, all do kind of like a plugin or just one little thing, a little line you can add.
On average, how long people stay on a particular site or on a particular page in your website? Does it tell you that?
Yeah, it tells you the average. There's like loads of reports you can put off, but there's like a quick kind of service one that tells you how long someone stays on your website, the average amount of time.
Just for blog posts, I guess, if you know if people are actually reading a blog post, you can recognize that the content that you produced is actually interesting to your audience, so you can write more stuff like that. So for content, you can use that to tell you if the stuff you're putting out there is working, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah. But yeah, Google Analytics 4, you need to kind of set it up, but you can navigate to analytics.google.com, and that will take you through to the GA4 page. And then you also have something called Google Tag Manager, and that can specifically help you target when people click on certain buttons or certain links or go to certain pages, and you can kind of see the buttons and the links they're clicking and how many they're clicking and when they're clicking them. And all that kind of stuff really. And you can kind of just add like a line of code to your website. It's quite easy. There's like a plugin with WordPress and Squarespace and all that kind of stuff. We can get a developer to add it in. It's super easy to do. It shouldn't take them any longer than a few minutes.
Now, we have a rule on this show, as you know, as everybody else knows that tunes in regularly. People aren't allowed to sell or promote their service. They can say who they are and what they do, which is fine, which is what we've done. But I'll bend that rule a little bit, because this all sounds a bit complicated to me, not in itself, but there's a lot of it, and it's complicated because there's a lot of it. Is this something that you would help people with? If you all those things you just put on the screen a few seconds ago, Kirsty, you could help people navigate that, find out where they're at, understand what they're supposed to be doing. Is that something that you do with some of your clients?
Yes, I'm like anyone that wants to have a chat, like feel free to give me a chat. I have a lady yesterday who's setting up an agency in a few weeks' time. She phoned me up about a microsite. She's already got a web developer. She was wondering about a microsite. I just said, look, you don't need a microsite. Just get a Canva kind of media pack. She wanted basically a media pack to send to clients. I said, look, you can do like a Canva template, do that kind of stuff. And I spent 15 minutes having a chat to her. Like, I'm always happy to have a chat to people. Not going to sell to you. I used to work in recruitment. I always think kind of long term. So they're all, I know they sound complicated, but if you just put it into YouTube, there'll be a 5-minute video and it will talk you through it, and they're all really easy to do, trust me.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, now unfortunately we have come towards the end of our time now. So in a second we're going to come to Rob for the top tip. Obviously there's a lot of things we've gone through today, but if you're going to take anything, Rob's going to tell you the one thing to do. But before then, Mike, let's talk about next time show in 2 weeks.
Next show, yeah. I'm very excited about this. It's something we've covered a long time ago, but we've had a number of people talk to us about it, and some of the private client work that I do, it crops up a lot, and I find myself explaining it over and over. This concept of AIDA, A-I-D-A, attention, interest, desire, and action, it's magical. You can use AIDA in pretty much everything, from cold calls to warm calls, to emails, to pitches, to presentations, to websites. Yeah, websites, right? Grab attention, create interest, build desire, call to action. So it's like magical, and we're going to explain what it is and how you can use it basically to simplify things so that people who are working for you, or maybe you yourself, can achieve great results even without masses of experience, because you understand ADA. It is magical. It's been around since 19, not 20, but 1913, and it's outstanding. It is magical. So we're really looking forward to that show. Tune in for that.
Very much big fans. Okay, we've just about got time, Rob, for your top tip. And it is just a repetition of how we opened the show almost, which is
Google Lighthouse. Yeah, I will talk about I was actually training Fab and Ada and Dipper back in the day, and then Spin and the Challenger Cell. But yeah, big fan of all of those. But my top tip is Google Lighthouse. Yeah, try that. It's a good starting place. You can see the health of your website, how fast it is, and if you look through it, it's going to give you a few kind of tips that you can implement yourself or pass on to a developer. Or if you've just got a new website that's just been handed over to you from a developer, run Google Lighthouse on it. Like, you should put it in the incognito tab, because that's where we went wrong earlier on. But yeah, put it into an incognito tab. I should have said that, and then kind of run the reports on it. You should be aiming for about 330 out of 400 ideally. There's no reason why it shouldn't be hitting that. And run it. It's really good. It's really fun. I like the colors.
Data.
Yeah.
Make bricks without clay. Give me data. Yeah, love it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, it's come to that time, guys, where we are at the end of the show. So first of all, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's watched. I've loved all the comments and all the questions that you brought in. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. I want to say a huge thank you to Rob. I've learned so much today. My head is full of so much stuff. You've been absolutely fantastic in explaining something that I feel is complicated in a really simple way.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it. No, it's been really fun. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to run through everything, but it's good. I'm glad I can kind of share it around a little bit, and I appreciate having me. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, and like we said, if you do have any questions that you continue on answering or want to talk about this, just connect with Rob on LinkedIn, and he's the #1 guy in London, I think is what you said.
Yeah, I'm big deal in London. Yeah. I will come by. My home address is on my website. Come by for a cup of tea. I've run out of tea bags actually now. I've only got decaf at the moment.
Never tell Ames
I will get some. I'll get down Lidl in a bit.
Never tell Ames that, because we will come for tea.
We're like bad smells.
Come round. Honestly, come round. I've got a lovely lab. As long as you don't mind dogs, she's very exuberant. So yeah. I had to put her in the kitchen because she's got there's 2 cats on either side, and she's always barking at them. So I put them away. Yeah.
But thank you very much, Rob. And of course, Mike, thank you for just being here, clicking some buttons, living your best life.
Always. Pleasure as always. And thank you very much, Rob. Let me echo that. I've learned a lot too.
Okay. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.